Yes, guys, welcome back to the Winning at Life podcast. In this podcast, we talk about personal growth, we talk about health, we talk about mental well-being, we cover upbringing. We literally cover all aspects of life to try and inspire, motivate, and help as many people across the world. And that is the exact aim that my business, Winning Fitness, is out to do. So, interesting guest today. It's someone I know quite well. I live with her every single day. She is the mother to my dog, and I'm very, very proud of her. Mish, introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. I'm Mrs. Winning Fitness.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mica, Mrs. Winning Fitness.
Yeah, not engaged yet. She'll talk about this. She's very annoyed, but I'm sure we'll get there. So Misha's actually a key part of Winning Fitness at this point. She does so well with our clients. Her girls absolutely adore her, and she's so valued within the community. And I'm personally very proud of her, how she's grown and how she's developed since I forced her to quit a job. We'll go into that. The key thing we're going to speak about today is Misha's been on a journey since young. She has lost 5 stone. She lost 5 stone before meeting me. So the aim is to inspire others in a similar situation, maybe similar upbringing, similar problems, and she's going to talk about how she got through that. So, Mish, let's start from being baby Mish, and you was in the pub, the Ashley Brook, where I used to live behind that, but I've never seen you. But yeah, let's talk about that. So,
because I'm about 5 years older.
Yeah, that would have been weird. But yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about you in the pub with your mum and dad.
Okay, so taking it back to mum and dad together, always owned pubs or ran pubs. So the first pub that I remember was the Ashley Brook in Salford. My mum and dad ran that together. So my memories of my mum and dad, I remember my dad a lot more than I do my mum. Very hardworking mum and dad, loved me very much.
Shout out Gary Yvonne.
But yeah, because it was very demanding, it was an all-day thing. So like when the pub opened at you're getting the pub ready for opening, and then you're doing last orders, and then you've got to do all the take-ins. I was very much raised by my auntie and my nana, because I always wanted to go home with them. I always wanted to be with them because my mum and dad were so busy. But yeah, they loved me very much. I had a really good upbringing, very well travelled. Holidays were amazing. I went to a private school, private educated in primary school. So yeah, I think mum and dad did a lot for me, but that was partly the problem why I
Spoiled.
ended up, spoiled with love, but spoiled with food as well. So yeah, a lot of this story is like me growing up and how I probably got to where I ended up getting with like my behaviours with food and stuff.
So talk about what was going on nutritionally, how you created the behaviours that you had. What, like, okay, you was probably in the pub quite a lot, even though you've been raised by your auntie and nana, but in terms of like people's upbringing and people's relationship with food, a lot of the time is down to the behaviours they learn as a kid. So talk about what was going on nutritionally at that point.
So I remember getting up every morning and my dad would take me to school and I'd get a bag of crisps and a bottle of J2O from behind the bar. So my breakfast at like 8:30 in the morning, every day on the way to school, was a packet of cheese and onion McCoys and a J2O before I'd even got to school. And then I'd get in the car with my dad and he'd drop me off whilst we were listening to Lighthouse Family, mine and my dad's song. And yeah, and then of course I'd be in school eating again. But then more so when I got in from school, because my mum and dad were so busy, they were a very can't cook, won't cook, or just couldn't cook mum and dad. And I don't know if anyone's listening to this, if they know the Ashley Brook in Salford, you've got How House Chipper on your left and you've got the Tandoori House on your right. And I mean, They're like immediately next door, so like neighbouring buildings. And it was the option between half fried rice, chips and curry, or a curry. And curry is my favourite food ever.
How old was you at this point? He's eating that every day.
Like, it would have been very young. I mean, it was every single night, and my mum to this day still hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And it's no surprise. I mean, well, I'm surprised, not no surprise. I'm surprised that she's not actually huge, because my mum still eats chippy. But she still eats chippy pretty much every night of her life. But yeah, I was very overweight in primary. So, God, I'm talking like, from what I remember, year 2, 3, 4.
The thing is, at this point, you're too young to understand calories, what good foods are, because you're not really educated on food through school. So you just thought that was a normal routine. I remember me when I was a fat kid, because I had a lot going on. I would just like eat sweets or rummage my nana's cupboard. I just thought I was naturally fat. I just thought I'm just a fat person. I didn't understand it was the food doing that to me, because I had no idea on calories or anything. So what I'm trying to say is, like, do you believe that you at the time just thought eating takeaway every night was normal, and when you had a cut meal, that was like, not like occasionally?
Yeah, like, I was so spoiled. Like, my mum and dad just didn't have time. So my auntie actually, like, she really did bring me up, my auntie San. And she actually says to me, like, you used to just demand money because you were so used to just having whatever you were given, because it was easy for my mum and dad. In fact, like, my auntie didn't have a lot of money and she had 5 kids. So if they wanted money, it was difficult for her to just give them £1. And back then you could get quite a lot from the shop for £1. I'm born in 1992. So my mum and dad, though, if I went in the house and I was like, can I have some money for sweets and chocolate, I would get a decent amount of money, because my mum and dad would just, it was easier to shut me up than deal with a kid whilst you're working a shift on a pub. So yeah, it was just, I could just have it, and I didn't know any better. Like, my mum and dad didn't know any better.
Yeah. Your parents don't, because they don't understand nutrition, like, especially when they're pretty old school as well. They don't know food. They don't know the damage that they can be causing to the child's future, and they don't know what you went through on a personal level through school, which we'll go on next. But to any parents, or like, you got to, in nowadays, I believe, like, as a parent, you got to kind of set the example, because monkey see, monkey do. Your child will follow exactly what you are doing and think that is the norm. And if you're not setting a healthy example, if you're not providing healthy meals and educating on food, or being educated on food right now, then that's going to flood into your whole family. So that's probably the bit of advice I could give for that. So talk to me how being this overweight girl was in school as you started getting older.
So
we've got tissues ready, haven't we?
I've got tissues ready. I'm struggling already. So I actually, like, through school, like, I wasn't necessarily like bullied. I had really strong friendships, and I'm still really close to the same people who I had around me in primary school, like the best of friends. But I mean, I was the overweight, like, I don't want to say fat, because that was a word that, like, still triggers me now. But I was overweight, and oh God, I don't know why I'm getting upset. Let me just have a breather. Fucking hell.
But this is the emotion that people are feeling right now. There are people getting called fat off the partner. There are people getting called fat off their friends. There are people that call themselves fat and feel this way, but are not changing the situation, which you did. So your story is going to inspire people. Like, you can see already the emotion that you felt from that situation. You've done well to change it. So just talk about it, so as much as you can, so people can resonate with you, because there's people going through it. And
yeah, I know. It's just really hard to talk about.
100%, 100%, I understand. Take a second, we can cut it out. She's really crying, guys. If we don't cut this out,
we will be cutting this out.
No, let people see the emotion.
Right.
So if there was no direct bullying, like constant everyday bullying, what the things that triggered you? And
There was no direct bullying. Like, I didn't go to school every day, and I wasn't called or tormented. But if I got in an argument with someone, the first thing that I'd get called was fat.
yeah, that happened to me as well. To be fair, it was like the easy go-to. You know what I mean? Even if you weren't like mega fat, it was the easy go-to, and it really does affect someone, and it can actually make your situation worse. You can bring up a load of emotions, and then you can start eating more. But
God, I wish I just didn't wear mascara. Right, I'm composing myself. Right, so I wasn't bullied. I wouldn't say I was bullied, but whenever I got into like a row, or there was a couple of people who I didn't actually necessarily do anything to them. I'll never forget, I was in New York, and back in the day when you have a BlackBerry, I put a picture on because I'd bought my watch that I'd always wanted in life, which was a tag. And I regarded this person as a friend, and I'd put a picture on, as you do. You know, like people do it all the time. They're on holiday and that's what they're proud of, or like I've got a car or whatever they put on. And
yeah, you're a young girl as well.
I put on my watch, and someone who I actually regarded as a friend, like, and he put it on his status, so it didn't, and if you had people on BlackBerry back then, it update the status, and he just basically called me a fat cunt, and like, this is 2012.
Did he have an explanation for that?
No, just like must have thought I was showing off, but just paired it with like fat, and you just never forget that.
What a dick, by the way. If you're watching this and you know that was you, what a muppet, by the way. So how did that affect you personally? How did that affect your kind of relationship with yourself throughout the years? And when was the penny drop moment?
So my relationship with my appearance is, oh God, this is really hard.
You can do it.
I know, but it's really hard. I wish I'd stop crying.
You can do it. I want it to stay on. I don't want it to be took out, because I want to capture the emotion of your story and what it actually means to you because you're helping people out of this situation.
I know, but
I know I want this to stay in.
So just sort myself out.
No, deep breaths. It's
just a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Because I don't even speak about stuff like this in
get it out
in depth with you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how did this affect your relationship with yourself? What were you thinking when things like this were happening? How did it affect the next few years before you started to lose weight?
So I was with my ex at this point, and body image is always something that I've struggled with. Of course, I was overweight, and all I wanted desperately was to not be overweight. I didn't know how to lose the weight. Like, I was just lost. Back then, coaches didn't exist.
Yeah.
I'd like tried with personal trainers, but you just I didn't get what I needed, because my relationship wasn't with the gym. My relationship was with food. Like, I turned to food so much. And I remember I basically lived at my nana's when I was a teenager. My nana and my auntie. I'd just stay there for the week and not go home. Like, that was my comfort place. And I'd just get up at like 11 o'clock at night and go and make a cheese and salad cream sandwich just because.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't hungry. I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be that way because I hated the way I looked, like, painfully. And I know I've shared bits about, like, how much or how unhappy I was. Like, I didn't go on girls' holidays So all of my girls who I'm still really close with now, they went to Marbella.
Yeah.
They went to Ibiza, and I didn't feel good enough
Because of your body.
because of how I looked.
So you actually missed out on quite a bit as well. And that would have been affecting you. And you kept going back to PTs and they wasn't providing the service that you needed. They don't give the education around nutrition, because I've been a PT myself. There's no education around nutrition. There's a couple of unless you get a really good one who are mega expensive. No education around nutrition. People are blinded by having the safety net of having them in the gym. It does not move you forward. It wastes your time a lot of the time, and it will actually waste your money. You need more education, and you're a prime example of that, because there's girls that we speak to and are like, don't need an online coach, I'm going to go to a PT. It's like, how do you think you're getting more value out of that? Do you know what I mean? We've both been through the experience.
Yeah, like I really, really tried. And I got into, when the girls went on holidays, and I wouldn't go on a holiday because I was so consumed over the thought of not being up to the same standard as what they are, because my mates were like gorgeous girls and I just never felt good enough against them. So I stepped out of those 2 holidays. I think I said like I couldn't afford it. Like deep down, I think they knew, because they know me. Like even outside of holidays, them friends know, like the ones who will listen to this, they'll know who they are. They know how bad I was with my body image and my confidence.
Yeah.
Like I'd never be the girl who would get changed in front of the girls. I'd always step off into the toilet and get changed.
Well, to be honest, you still do that with me. So it's still there.
Yeah.
So I get it and I see it.
But I went down the route of like fads. And this is why I'm really passionate about women not doing this, because I must have been 18 and stepping out of these holidays and really wanting to go on them, but I just got trapped into fads because I was so desperate.
Yeah, when you say fads.
I was buying fat burners off the internet. I bought XLS medical from Boots. Shake diets. Like I was taking tablets, which basically mean like you're just gonna like shit out fat.
Right.
Like it's really not pretty. I was on water tablets. I was starving myself. Like all my corporate girls from Bupa will remember. I lost a big amount of weight because I ate 100-calorie piece of fish, which you microwaved. So I was that person in work who was like microwaving fish in the microwave with sprouts. And I ate sprouts and a piece of fish every day for my dinner and tea to just try and drop weight. But I was literally starving myself. I was on Slim Fast. I did the Cambridge Shake diet. Like, you name it, I've done it.
How did they affect your relationship with food, and did they help the relationship with yourself?
It never worked.
Yeah.
So I wasted 4 years doing that. I spent so much money. I was still dead unhappy. And yeah, I still just hated myself. Like, hated everything. And I had a lot of resentment towards my mum because I didn't like it. I genuinely believe, and one of the things that I'm really passionate about today is people who haven't been in this situation. I think it's so easy to assume that if a person's overweight, that they're just doing it to themselves.
It's their fault.
Like it's your fault and you're choosing to be overweight.
Yeah.
And in my case, I'd always been overweight. I didn't know anything better. So to try and lose weight when all you've ever known as a child is eat, like it's so much deeper to try and undo that. And then you're angry at yourself because you don't understand why you're like that. And then you're angry at your parents for doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
and
God.
you've got so many made up behaviours that you don't even realise that you have. And then it's this made up rule in your head that you've got to eat at a certain time. It's got to be this type of food. Like even eating on a Friday night a takeaway, that is a made up rule in your head. Oh, it's Friday night takeaway night. You don't have to do that. It's a made up rule in your head. And I think we were both in this situation that we had these made up rules. And whenever it was emotional, first thing we go to is food. If it was a weekend, food. If we had a stressful day at school or work, food. So your upbringing has a massive, massive role in your relationships with food and your view on food and your kind of emotional eating habits, which, as you know now, takes a lot of work to reverse. So if you're overweight, it's not your fault. As you said, going through the fad diets, going through all these shit diets that people find on the internet is not the way to reverse a lifetime of behaviours and habits. You need to get help. So what actually did you do to then sustain good results and start to become a more confident version of yourself?
I mean, I'll be honest with everyone, I didn't. Coaches didn't exist, and I think that's one of the things. I mean, I say I regret it. I don't necessarily regret everything that's happened, because I wouldn't be in this position today. There's certain things that I'll never say that I'm glad happened, because, do you know what I mean? Like, we'll go into it, but coaches didn't exist, so I never did it in a good way.
Yeah.
I'd never got the weight down in a healthy way. I did it. I was terrified of gyms. And that's why today Mrs. WinningFitness stands by a safe place for women who have a fair amount of weight to lose, who think that they can only do it by going to a gym, because it's just not the case. Like, I can bet my life on it. The people that come to me, I can do so much with your nutrition, like I ended up doing, but healthy nutrition, not the way I did it. And you don't need to go into a gym. And I think having someone and this is another thing with like a lot of the coaches out there, because they don't understand the anxiety and the pain and the trauma and how you don't feel adequate in being. I didn't feel like I belonged in a gym. So if someone was to work with me and want me to straight away expect me to go into a gym, I straight away thought that I couldn't do a plan.
Was you worried that other people would judge you, like, oh, she's put weight on, so she's trying to train now? Did you think like people were thinking?
I couldn't even engage in a conversation about a gym, because it's right. And if people are listening to this, some people will understand what I'm trying to explain. If I was sat with 4 people around a table when I was overweight, soon as they would just innocently talk about maybe a diet or the gym, the anxiety that I felt, because I wanted to get out of that situation, because I thought, well, whilst they're talking about the gym and losing weight, I think they're all thinking that I need to lose weight and get in a gym, and I just want to get out of the situation. Like, that's how much it consumed me. Yeah,
literally. And there's girls that have said that specifically to me, like, they don't want the pictures to go up, even the before and after, because they're embarrassed about how big they got.
I've still got pictures today that I've not shared with anybody, because it's still super, super sensitive. Like, I mean, look at me today. Like, it's a very emotional subject.
Yeah, 100%. So,
but what we're saying about the gym and how I did it, I did 4.5 stone on food, 20k steps eventually, and swimming.
So there actually is proof there that you can really simplify it. It can just be nutrition and steps, because so many people come to us and like think it's going to be overcomplicated. Especially women and females who are very highly emotional. They just get a little bit overwhelmed. Like, we can simplify it for you, but it's about being held accountable at the same time to make sure you actually do it.
The conversations I have, women say, oh, I really want to lose 3 stone, but I can't go to the gym straight away. It's because they think that the only way that they can lose weight is getting in a gym. And me and you both know it's the diet that's more so the problem. It's not the gym. And if anyone is listening to this, like, and you've not had a conversation with someone, and you want to lose weight and you think that's because you need to go to a gym and you're either scared of the gym or you don't know what to do in the gym, you don't need the gym.
No. It's always going to be great to have later down the line when you want to build shape. And to, like, it's like you either accept that you can't go gym because you're not in the correct kind of mindset right now. You just do nutrition and steps, or you stay the exact same. You've got two choices there.
Like, if I could have said to me, like 22-year-old me, eventually you'll walk into Banús, which is the biggest bodybuilding gym in Dubai and probably known worldwide. You will walk in there and you will be able to train on your own. I'd have gone, shut up, because I was terrified.
So, talking about that, when you met me, best thing that ever happened to you, clearly. When you met me, how did getting with a trainer affect your life or affect your thought process?
I can't really. I mean, I was obviously a much more confident person then.
Yeah.
Because I was already training.
Yeah.
I wasn't as confident in training as what I am now. It's still like a journey, isn't it?
Yeah. So do you think like being around me, just having someone who is like confident in the gym, cracking on, has helped you progress?
Because I still do it with you now, don't I? Like, oh my God, I don't want to use this piece of equipment. Show me how to use it. And I think it doesn't need to be your boyfriend. It can be a friend.
Yeah.
It can be
just a line of accountability.
Like in a community that you're in. If someone trains and you're nervous, I still do it to keep today, where I still have those overwhelming nerves sometimes where there's a piece of equipment that I've never used before and I'm just a little bit overwhelmed with anxiety, and I'll say, show me how to use this.
So, difficult question. Even though you are a lot more confident now, what confidence issues do you still have with me? Naked, personally, on every level.
This is the one that set me off in the house before. What a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
What a dickhead.
On the spot there,
I mean, let me just get myself together.
That's bro.
This is like a therapy session.
All right.
Oh, God. So, a minute.
Like when do
I
you
keep getting myself okay.
When do you feel nervous? What areas
I think
you like, shit?
Sorry for everyone if you can hear me like snot bubbling down the microphone. It does. It sounds like that. Yeah. I think, again, an advantage that I've got, and this is it that now I'd class it as like my superpower. An advantage that I've got over other coaches is like, God, you've seen the state of me today. I still feel it very, very deep. My confidence still isn't there. I'm a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, if my mum was here today, like if I did it this morning to you where you walked in whilst I was getting changed and I literally like
you literally go mad at me when I
literally freaked out.
When I walk in, you're naked, you go fucking mad at me.
Yeah.
Like you're my sister or something.
Yeah, I know, but I think that's like, if you've always, like, it's so hard for people to understand. And that's why I say to the girls, I get it. Like, I truly, truly, truly get it, because I still feel not exactly the same as I did when I was younger, but I've still not got the confidence. And that's for various reasons. Yeah. I still don't feel like I look beautiful, or I'm not proud of. I am proud, but not in that bareness.
You have moments of confidence. 100%.
I have moments of confidence.
You're like, you are punching me.
Yeah.
I know.
You are.
Yeah.
But it's like I am loads better, because if my mum was here today, if my mum or my ex-partner walked in on me whilst I was getting changed when I was younger.
My mum, you sound like your mum's dead then. Your mum's not dead.
No, why did it say that if my mum
You said if my mum was here today.
No, like as in like
literally in here. Like, yeah.
If my mum was there, she would vouch that like if she walked in on me getting changed, and I mean this is my mum, I would literally. 1 minute. Oh, it's really hard. This is so hard. I can't believe I'm so upset.
You can do it. Keep the crying bits in, bro. Keep the crying in.
Right.
Breathe, you sweet.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want all of the crying. Like,
Yeah.
we need to
No,
try.
little bits of crying in. Little bits of crying in.
I've got mascara all down my face.
No?
No.
Sweet. Take a picture now.
Let me see.
Oh no, you start crying at that.
Let me see. Oh, just let me blow it over. Right.
Okay, therefore leave that in.
Good Jesus. Right, so I'm just going to pose myself. I knew I'd need tissue. So I know, like, you walking in on me, like, I'm still not ready for it, and I still, like, have the shock factor, but if it was my ex-boyfriend or it was my mum walking in, and I mean, it's my mum at the end of the day, I'd literally sit hysterically behind the door crying. Like, would literally sob because I was so embarrassed of what she'd seen. My mum used to say, oh God, this is so hard.
Go on.
So my mum used to get so upset because she'd be like, why are you so upset about me seeing you undressed, like my daughter? And honestly, it'd be like hours before I could come out of the bedroom because she'd see me. And I'm like, it sounds so ridiculous because she's my mum. But the idea of someone seeing me undressed like that when I couldn't even bear to look at myself in the mirror, like it would be like literally 2 hours sat behind a door refusing to let her in. Like that's how, like, when I say I've dealt with some serious, like, dark thoughts about that time of my life. This is why I get so upset.
How deep did them thoughts go?
Like, really bad. Like, oh God, my face is twitching and everything. Like, really bad. Like, I wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
My ex who I was with, like, I would do the same with him. Like, he would never ever see me undressed. I'd always be fully clothed. The thoughts would run really, really deep. And I mean, all of these things, God, the juice diets and stuff that I tried to get the weight down. I mean, it got me to where I eventually got, which is where I'd lost the 4.5 stone. But yeah, like, I used to think, I used to sit there and I used to get my belly rolls, and I literally would think, oh God, like, if I can't even say it.
If you could cut it off.
Yeah.
I knew it. Because I thought the same.
Yeah, like, because I used to think cosmetic surgery, and if I could do it, or at least I started it, like, surely the NHS would have to, like, finish the job, sort of thing. So, yeah, it was a shit place.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. You never told me that. So, I do appreciate you sharing it. I know it fucking took a lot of you. I know it did. So let's brighten things up. What?
I mean, that's not even the bomb that I wanted to tell you today.
Oh God, do you want to drop it now?
Still don't want, no, not right now.
Maybe for another podcast. So I just hope that girls watching this are relating to it, probably feeling the same way, maybe had the same thought process, the same confidence issues, naked in front of the partner, looking at themselves and just being disappointed, being embarrassed, hiding themselves away from social events and from holidays. And you can make a change, because at the end of the day, you ended up doing all them things. So you have fixed the issue. You live in Dubai, you're in a bikini every couple of weekends, not like we leave the office.
Well, there's still bits. How long have we been? Not been long.
I don't know. No, we're good to go. We can
So,
talk. We're not finishing yet.
are we not finished?
No.
Have you still got questions?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were wrapping up.
Let's continue where you want to go off from.
So, well, ask me.
My next question is to you, is like, what is inspiring you now for you to quit your job and then join me and to do this thing for me? And there's probably a number of women that was never going to be comfortable training with me, now with you. So what inspires you to help these people?
Just like my backstory, because I think it really helps. Like, I don't think, and I mentioned this on my story the other day, I don't think you have to work with someone. If you're overweight, I'm not saying that I'm being biased and you have to work with someone who's gone through a similar weight loss journey. But I took comfort, at least eventually, knowing that I had a safe space, like where I could be vulnerable. And it's weird. I've told women who I coach stuff that I've still not told you, because when they're vulnerable with me, it lets me be vulnerable with them. And I think having that vulnerable, safe space, you just feel so heard. And unless you've been overweight, I think it's so, you can't understand how trapped you are in your own head, because you feel like every challenge or every time that you don't stick to your diet, that you're a failure, and you can't tell that person because they're just going to think you're a fat, lazy shit. So I think when it's that deeply rooted, I definitely found it easier to speak to someone who I knew would understand it. And I think that's what inspires me, is because I am now getting a lot of women who are like little mini versions of me, whether they're younger or older, but I see a lot in them where they're struggling, or they've told me they've tried and they've been made to feel shamed. And I think I've got a really safe and good platform for them to genuinely make progress, because I know I'll get them there, because I genuinely care about getting them there, because I know how amazing it'll feel for them to get there. Yeah,
I think that culture runs through the whole of Winning Fitness. Do you know what I mean? We've both had big stories in the past, and when you connect with someone's in a similar position, like a lot of mine, it's not just about the fat loss, it's about like the personal development and growth, and I've obviously had to overcome barriers as well. So when you can truly connect with someone, you can help them more. So when they can relate to you and you've been in that exact same situation that they're telling you, there are some coaches that just haven't been in the same situation as that person. When you have, and you story tell about how you got through it, it just puts a whole new perspective on things for them.
Like storytelling and having like a full, like when I say to the girls, like, I'm still going through my own like confidence improvements and where I've been, like storytelling. Oh, this is gonna be so hard, because like
You got it.
I don't know how to spit it out. Like, there'll be people who are listening to this. I mean, I'm laughing at this because I felt so much shame for a long time on this subject. But there'll be people listening to this who are like, oh, she's already spoke to me about it. But like, he actually doesn't know this. So I'm actually
here, baby.
So I'm actually laughing. Because if you know me, you'll actually know that I'm being serious, that Cute doesn't know this. And then if you don't know me, you'll almost be like, that's bullshit. Like, how have they been together for nearly 5 years and he doesn't know it? But this is how much, like, shame, not shame, it's like embarrassment that I'd carried for a long, long time, especially because it's misunderstood. And this is sort of why I want to say it, because it's an important part of like my next storytelling and just being honest with anyone who follows me or has trouble with the same or similar things, because I think it's so unusual to come across at such a young age or not spoken about enough that people feel like they're on their own. So just taking it back to when I'd lost the weight, I ended up having to have surgery because I had so much loose skin.
Yeah.
So
is that the scar on your stomach?
Yeah, which I've just always told you is just like, I think I lied to you and said it was.
You said you had some.
A stomach surgery.
And me, dickhead, there going, yeah.
So Keith doesn't know this because I felt so much embarrassment about it, but it's something that, like, I was only 24 years old, which is a really, really young age to need such a procedure. But unfortunately for me, when I'd lost all my weight, and these are the pictures that no one's ever seen. So the pictures that are on my social media is weird because that is actually after surgery. So it's, I still class that as a before because I was actually still able to change my body since then. But the surgery itself gave me confidence to probably progress more in the gym. But I had so much loose skin because I'd lost 4.5 stone. I was 24 years old. God. And I was having a surgery that, like, is known for women who have had children and I've not even had the babies. And then I've got friends who were having boob jobs.
Yeah.
So if you think 23 years old, 23, 24, your mates are all having boob jobs.
Yeah.
And then you're having to have weight, it's not a weight loss surgery because you have to have a healthy BMI. And this is it. Part of why I want to speak about this is because there's such misunderstanding around it. It's not a weight loss surgery. You've got to have lost the weight first.
The weight,
You actually have to have a healthy BMI.
But being that overweight person was still affecting you even after you lost it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're still having to deal with it. Which is
like, when I say to people, the impact that it had on me, like, I've got a scar from hip to hip. I never feel confident in a bikini still because I look like I've been chopped in half almost. Like,
you don't even notice it.
But, like, for some people, they lose the weight and their bodies bounce back. Like, I've got a story beyond that, which still bothers me because that's what really upsets me with when I get resentment towards my mum. It's not only did it make me overweight, but then I had to have such a big procedure at 23, which not many 23-year-olds need to have. Like, it had such profound effects for me and my appearance, and still I struggle with it all the time now. But I've got it off my chest now.
Yeah.
Keith knows about it. But there's still misconception about it because someone commented on my Instagram picture a couple of days ago. I had a troll who said, this is a... What did he say?
So I remember now. He said you had lipo or something.
He said that I'd had what do you call it, where you have that rapid weight loss operation? My body's come back.
I don't know.
A gastric sleeve.
Oh, that's the one.
and didn't have a gastric
No,
sleeve.
you didn't. And there's that, to be fair, there's better ways to do it. But
I have nothing against anyone who has a gastric sleeve, because I think when you've been that unhappy in your thoughts, whatever way works for you.
however, when your hard work gets took away from you,
Yeah, that really triggered me
by
because
some prick.
that really triggered me because I have the graphs. So if anyone follows me, I worked for Bupa and I had a health assessment every 2 years. And I've got the proof of a graph where I scaled red as obese, and then over a 4-year period, it eventually comes down to green. And I mean, if a gastric sleeve takes 4 years to get weight off, it'd be a really bad gastric sleeve. So I think the proof is that, and I'd own it. Like I'd own it. I've got nothing against anyone who's done that, but that's not the way that I did it. But I unfortunately had to have the skin. And do you know what? It's the best thing that I ever did. I have zero regrets over that, but that's the pictures that no one's ever seen.
Yeah.
But for another podcast, I'll speak about that more in depth.
Have you got pictures from when you was at your absolute biggest?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Have we seen them?
No. I've got a picture which is in a app on my phone called Keep Safe, and I've got a padlock app where all my pictures are, and I've got a picture prior to me losing weight. And you can already see on that picture that I'm not going to have the sort of body that's going to bounce back. So when women consult with me in my messages now, there'll be people who are strangers who I've actually already told this to, because they'll ask me, do you think my tummy will go? And I will never bullshit a woman down a road of being like, oh yeah, start my program and your tummy will go.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly what I'm against. Because if someone preyed on my vulnerabilities like that when I was 23, I would have ripped off your arm to get rid of that belly.
Yeah. But like, you're also still on a journey. Like, neither of us are finished yet. I'm going through a prep now. You're actually on a prep now. Like, the best is yet to come. You're still on this journey. You are going to keep improving your physique. You're not just like lost weight and stops. Like you.
Well, yeah. The pictures that are on my Instagram now, people see a before and after on my Instagram. That's actually after I'd had the surgery.
Yeah.
After I'd had the skin removed. So that's actually not
the
my
before
biggest.
was.
So the before and afters on my page right now.
Yeah.
Are after I'd actually lost the weight and I'd had the skin removed.
That's the before.
No, that's technically after.
Yeah.
None of the pictures on my Instagram are before me losing weight.
Right. Okay.
But I still see them.
You still lost a lot of weight since then.
I'd lost the weight, had the surgery, so I'd actually lost 4 stone, had the skin removed,
and then just
but
improved.
then I've still improved.
Yeah.
So that's still, it's that good of an improvement change that people are still really proud of me for that. But that isn't the before. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see posts like that will inspire so many people. So, yeah, it's been emotional. We're going to continue, by the way. We've got a few minutes left. So, what is your mission right now? What is the motivation? And just tell everyone how much you love me as well. But go on first. What's the motivation to our people?
Yeah. So motivation is just to inspire and help women who have been like me. Anyone who resonates with this or is gonna future land on my page, like I hope you can take a lot from what I've spoken about. There's things that we've not even touched on in here, like part of my troubles with losing weight and still got the troubles today. I've got medical conditions like a couple of you may relate to as well.
I can touch on that, to be honest. PCOS.
Yeah. So, God, I'm just fucked. I mean, it helps because not only was I overweight through food, and we've spoken about that, but the trying to lose weight has always felt like a big struggle for me.
Yeah.
And often at times I've felt like I'm not heard. So when I'm speaking to coaches and I'm saying, I'm sweaty, I'm doing everything, like I feel like they think I'm chatting shit. So much so.
That's what you think though.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's in your own head. And
Exactly.
And you get very scale driven, like a lot of people
Yeah,
do.
I am very scale driven, but listen, again, I've come miles on from that, because back in the day, like I said about my mum earlier on, if I would have sat behind a door, like the scales were so triggering to me at one point in my life. But now I can step on the scales and I can be like, oh, fuck off. I am so much better. I don't let the scales like determine my. I'll let it creep in a second, but it's nothing like I used to be. But it doesn't give me comfort, because I still get frustrated, and you see how upset it still makes me to the day.
Yeah, we argue over it.
Yeah, we argue over it. We can't speak
About it.
We can't speak about it. Because it's still a very emotional subject to me. Like, when you've had weight trauma, or you've never been satisfied with your body, to want to keep on improving it but have your body work against you is really frustrating. And we've had the blood tests.
Yeah.
And it helps to understand that there's factors.
Yeah.
But along with everything else in my past, it's just frustration to be
Yeah.
why am I always out of control?
'Cause I watch on.
Why don't I have it within my control? I'll be open, and I've spoke about this to my clients. Like, I look at people and I'm like, why can't, not that I just want to look like them, because I will work for it, but even working for it, I don't necessarily reap the same rewards as what other people do.
I've seen you do some harsh dieting, plenty of cardio, weight training well. I've watched you train. Your training's gone so much better. And I think she should be inside out it, like absolutely inside out. Like when I was doing mine, I was absolutely inside out, and you was getting pissed off at me, and I was like, got more muscle mass, I'm burning more calories, it must be that. But yeah, I do agree with you that
went for the blood
it's a little bit more complicated in this, what foods you've got to eat and stuff. So there's PCOS, there's a thyroid issue.
Well, the thyroid is, polycystic ovaries is one that I've always known. I've never really entertained it. I am one who, I'm just like, right, it's not necessarily causing me huge issues. The issues that it causes me is always weight related, but I'm not in pain, and I'm grateful for that. So I've got polycystic ovary syndrome. A lot of you will relate to that. I speak to so many women who have that, and I think that's another thing that makes them feel like they've got a connection, because I get it. And then recently was my most recent, well, both blood results told me the thyroid issue, but they've gotten worse.
Yeah.
They've worsened. This second blood test. So I have a coach right now, because I think it's important to have a coach, because I still have ups and downs.
Shout out Lauren.
Yeah, shout out Lauren. And Lauren is literally like, she's so passionate about me not neglecting my health. And she's like, I could push you super, super aggressive, but I'm just not fucking doing it. And she's so headstrong.
Because we was thinking about going to a certain coach who is like, you fat bastard, you can fucking do this, you fat cunt, you've getting, like, and it's like not enough sometimes. People need to be understood and where they're at. So yeah, you're in the right place. You're with me, who's always going to support you on. And I'm like, you can do it, you can get shredded, and you're like, I fucking can't stop it. But the thing is, the moral of the story, you are on a journey, and the journey is a journey for a reason. It's not just a straight direct line, as we both are. I feel like all of this has happened and happening to me, so I can sit on a podcast and be like, what I set out to do is, first and foremost, I want people to understand you can still make progress in whatever way works for you. Like, there is a method for you, and you will get there. You will be understood. You will have a safe place if you choose to ever join with us. But then, like, the things that I've had to go through, like, I've learned things to not do. And then if you've got any questions about what I've gone through, I can also share, you know, concerns that you've got around, like, someone literally dropped in my messages the other day and said that she's having the same surgery. Like, I'm open to speak about that. I think there's another episode that I'll do where I'll talk on that a bit more, because there's a lot of, like,
still like a stigma around it. Like I had one of my friends at the time say I was lazy for having it. Like it's not lazy, I'd lost the weight.
Yeah.
Something that I'm really passionate about. I think that's why I've carried so much like shame around it, is because people automatically assume that you're just cutting a corner.
Yeah.
It was never that. I've lost my train of thought.
Yeah, but listen.
But like the future, now me, like I'm still on a journey.
Yeah.
I've still got these health conditions that I'm working through.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm getting more active on my socials is because I want it to be like testament to other women that even if you have got these conditions, I'm going to prove that you can still make it happen. It just could be slower.
Yeah.
You've got to be okay with it, but you're still going to get to where you want to get to.
And it's key to have support. And what you can now do is like them people that called you fat, the issues that you've had, everything you've faced, like you've done so well to be in this position now. You're a coach, you're helping hundreds of women, you are setting the example as well. You're training at one of the best gyms in the world, but full of bodybuilders. You're putting yourself in uncomfort. You've moved to Dubai with me. I've dragged you here. Well, you actually kind of, it didn't take much persuading, did it? You've got in an uncomfortable situation. You've quit your job. So you are a good example for every female out there, for every woman out there who wants to go through the similar journey that you've gone through. So you're setting the example, and you're going to keep progressing. You keep progressing your knowledge. You was at this mastermind with me. You're developing who you are. It's not just about your weight. It's not just about.
No, I know I've got so much, and I know me and you will speak about this. Like the story, it's not like my page isn't transformations. Like we get incredible transformations from women, but I know that I've got like an important background and story to tell that could really help others.
Yeah, 100%. So I really, really hope that this podcast inspired you, male or female. I hope you took inspiration. I hope it motivated you, and you can use Mica's story to propel you forward and start taking action, just like she did, to get the help. If you do join WinningFitness, you're in good hands, both male or female, whatever member of the team that you are with. And the system we've built is to combat all the issues that you've heard. So really hope you enjoyed that podcast, and here's to the next one. Let's go.